This is Up for Debate, episode number 256, recorded June 8th, 2023. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two of us agree on everything. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by a man who's ready to enjoy his
I've never
summer
been
inside
more
watching
ready
movies and
to
reading
stay
books. It is
indoors,
Matt
Sean.
Mariani. Hello, Matt.
How have you been?
Matt, I think I read the other day, what was it? Spending 24 hours outside in New York City is the equivalent of smoking 6 cigarettes. And it just made me wonder, maybe I should take up smoking cigarettes. Maybe now's the time. I mean, if the environment's going to be that bad, you might as well enjoy the cigarettes.
I think that
I hear they're quite pleasurable.
That's
what the ads tell
what
me.
we had to take away from these past couple days of smog and fire. Yeah, I think that's the perfect takeaway.
More smoke.
Yeah, it's just it is an interesting time with the air quality I saw the other day was worse than Bangalore, India. And not to knock Bangalore, India. I'm sure it's a fine place, but not really known for their super great air quality. And
yeah, that was tough.
Like Norway.
What place is known for their super great air quality?
I bet Norway's got some good air quality. Let's check the air quality in Norway.
Yeah?
This has become a hobby of mine now that I know that air quality index is a thing that you can check. The real-time air quality in Norway is 17.
So apparently, a quick Google here, the cleanest air in the world is in Zurich,
Switzerland.
Yes. And if you go by country, that's the city, the Swiss city. But if you go by country, it's Australia is number one, then Barbados, Jordan, Canada's fourth on here. I don't think that's true anymore. Yes. I don't know when this is from.
The air quality. Where's the air quality index? How is it in your neck of the woods right now? Mine is probably a bit worse.
I think it's yeah.
Not by much. I think we're around in the same temperate zone.
Mine's like I think mine's like 3 million, 4 million, something like that. Oh no, that's population.
Yeah,
no,
New Jersey
92 is what the map's reading here. But no, it's not good, Matt.
144.
It's a not great way to start the summer.
Yeah, a lot of smoke gets in your lungs, gets in your eyes, and burns.
But Matt, I think this is the perfect opportunity to clear the air and hit the reset. We have been playing text-based adventure games since the beginning of March, and it is now June. So I want to just remind everybody that is not what the show is about. That's not the only thing we do, though it feels that way.
We are.
And Matt, we're transitioning into the summer season.
We're putting on our sunscreen and staying indoors, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but we like to be safe either way. We really can't be too careful here on Up for Debate. We're gonna be hanging out inside with a good book, maybe a few good books, maybe a few not so good books. We'll see. We've got our summer reading list today. Gonna take a look at. You've got some books. I've got some books. We're gonna take a look at some good reading. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, Matt, just so you and I are on the same page, because we did not talk about this before we started recording, are we also pitching movies tonight?
We can. I know we have an idea.
Summer film franchises.
For the series. Yeah.
Okay.
We can see where the night takes us. How about that? If we need to do a 2-parter, we can do a 2-parter.
Beautiful. There you go. Beautiful, Matt. Yes, it's our grand tradition, our summer reading list. We each pick a book, but in order to do that, we each present a series of books, and usually the other host will pick from the other host's list. So, Matt, I don't know. Do you have any sort of theme or anything going on with your book selections this year?
A grab bag of an assortment. I try to give you a bit of an assortment, a little bit of everything, a taste test. And so I try not to theme it so much as I try to cover all themes. Try to cover as much ground as I can, not drawing from one particular genre, but giving you kind of a taste of everything. My problem this summer's issue is, I think, the summer of too many books. I've got a pretty long list here. I'm trying to narrow it down to a few.
Wow.
But it's the summer of too many books, I think.
Whoa.
So I've got 10 books on the list right now.
Damn, that is intense.
And it's a lot of books, but I think you may have read some of these.
That's too many books.
We may have talked about them in previous episodes. We'll narrow them down. I can get a good narrow list going. And then, so are we doing the same format? I give you like 4 to select from. Okay, I think I can.
However many you want.
This down to 4, maybe 5, and then you can pitch them. Sure.
Would you like to go first?
Should we?
Or would you like me to go first?
You're looking a lot more stylish than me tonight. You got the Chargers hat on. You got the beautiful painting in the background. You got the hat hair going. I've got the nap hair going. I took a pretty intense nap before, but I think that I think you got it. I think you got this. You pitch. You go first.
Well, you and I tend to have when you talk about books and movies, you and I usually have the opposite problem, where you have way more books and I have way more movies. And the problem is, I went through my entire bookshelf and I've basically pitched every book I've ever read over the last couple of summers on the show. So today I will be pitching 3 books I have not read. And it's a fun mix of books, but they're all fresh, so I have no idea if they're good or not. They're all sitting in my Amazon cart right now, and we'll see if we end up buying any. So we're going to start with this first one, Matt. I think of these 3, this might be the one you might like the most. You'll have to tell me. This book is called Raw Dog, The Naked Truth About Hot Dogs. Let me share my screen here so you can see what I'm looking at. So comedian Jamie Loftus, who you may have heard on podcasts or things like that, a very funny individual, wrote this book. I'll just read you the synopsis here. Raw Dog, The Naked Truth About Hot Dogs is part investigation into the cultural and culinary significance of hot dogs and part travel log documenting a cross-country road trip, researching them as they're served today, from avocado and spice in the West to ass-shattering chili in the East to an entire salad on a slice of meat in Chicago. Loftus, her pets, and her ex eat their way across the country during the strange summer of 2021. It's a brief window into the year between waves of a plague. So grab a dog, lay out on your picnic blanket, and dig in. So sort of telling the story of the hot dog, but with a little sort of personal travel log element to it. That's supposed to be funny and amusing. Now, I think on the upside of this book, we'll definitely learn some things about hot dogs, and I do love hot dogs. On the downside, we may fall into that Of Dice and Men, a little too much about me type book. Now, normally when we do these pitches, I like to read 1-star reviews of the book. However, this book has 14 ratings. It's a newer book, and no 1-star reviews. They're all 4 or 5 stars.
What would you give a hot dog? What rating would you give just so your regular, good old, like, standard hot dog? What would you rate it? I was just going off of like 4 or 5 stars.
What's the hot dog scale?
5. They gotta be, right? Yeah.
Oh, hot dogs are 5 stars. Hot dogs are a quintessential.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fantastic. They're the Mount
versatile.
Rushmore.
I recently found my newest favoriteest topping on a hot dog, and this shouldn't surprise you at all, Sean, because it's a little out of left field, so to say. What do you think that topping is? What do you think I put on hot dogs nowadays?
What would Matt put on a hot dog?
If you said maple syrup, Sean,
French fries? No, I
if
didn't
you
say
said
maple. Hang on.
maple syrup,
Don't put those words in my mouth. I
you
did
would be
not say
pretty
maple
close.
syrup.
It's honey.
I want no
I put
credit
honey
for that.
now on the hot dogs. They're great. And
Oh,
and
good
it
God.
shouldn't surprise you one bit because that is
good
great.
God.
I love honey. What doctor?
Is your
I'm the
doctor worried about you?
Doctor is in, and it's me. Honey.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit of honey.
Exactly.
And some mustard. Classic hot dog. I'm not a psychopath like people that put ketchup on hot dogs. That's just insane. That's just the behavior of a clinically deranged human being. Ketchup on hot dogs is an affront to humanity. But yeah, this looks interesting. This looks like it. If I wonder if they talk about the nitty gritty of the hot dog. You know, they always say it's like the different like weird parts of a pig all like sewn up together. I don't know. Yeah, this looks good. I'll add this to the list. Mm-hmm.
Could be interesting. Raw dog.
Before we do that, I have to ask:
Loftus.
have you ever
Matt? Would you
eaten
like
a
to know
raw
my
dog?
second book?
Meaning an uncooked hot dog. Have you ever consumed one? My money is that you haven't. My money is you haven't.
No, that would be very dangerous, Matt.
You look at me.
No.
Do I seem like the kind of person who would have consumed
No, you're not supposed to eat uncooked
hot dog
meats.
at least once in their life? Yes.
Intentionally?
Try multiple times.
Accidentally.
Sean. I've had
also yes.
I've had multiple raw hot dogs. They do.
Yeah.
But
they
sometimes you're really, really hungry.
They come cooked.
And you just go for it. And you know what? I don't regret it. I'm still here. Still kicking. And
we need to do an episode of the show where here's a free pitch for the show. We need to do a creative challenge episode where you, Matt, have to write a restaurant menu. I think that would be
that would be quite the exercise. Yes. Quite the exercise in restaurant. Yeah, I like this. I like this idea.
Hugely problematic. Matt, next up on my list, do you remember a previous summer? I don't know if it was a summer we just read it for no reason, but we read a book called One
book.
Summer
great book.
by
it
Bill
was,
Bryson.
Covering the
do you
summer.
remember that book?
I get the year wrong every time I say it. I think it was 1927. 24.
I was going to say 23.
I think you're right. It was definitely earlier than 26. It was 27. Oh, first time.
No, it is 27. It's 27. You were right.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Give yourself some credit.
Yeah, buddy. The summer of 1927. A lot happened. A lot of stuff happened.
Well,
it was a good summer.
Yeah, and I think we talked about on the show, Bill Bryson weaved the stories together quite well. Well, he's out with a new book, so maybe we might do another Bill Bryson book. It's called The Body, A Guide for Occupants. Here in the summary, Bill Bryson once again proves himself to be an incomparable companion as he guides us through the human body, how it functions, its remarkable ability to heal itself, and unfortunately, the ways it can fail. Full of extraordinary facts and irresistible Bryson-esque anecdotes, The Body will lead you into a deeper understanding of the miracle that is life in general, and you in particular. As Bill Bryson writes, we pass our existence within this wobble of flesh and yet take it almost entirely for granted. The Body will cure that indifference with general doses of wondrous, compulsively readable facts and information. So a humorous, sort of anecdotal book all about the human body. I thought on the plus side, Matt, we could read it, maybe learn a few things, share some facts with the folks out there, and really enjoy it. The Body, a Guide for Occupants.
Yeah, a lot of interesting facts that await us in this, I think. Are you reading? Are you going to read the 1-star reviews?
Well, listen, Matt, if you're still unsure, you can listen to M. Wilkinson, who wrote, I just began to read this book and would like to return it, as Bryson is a proponent of evolution, which I do not agree with and cannot accept. 1 star.
Love it.
Oh, here go. Mr. Robert C. Silvio writes, check your books. I bought the hard copy, and at page 84, pages 85 to 116 were gone.
People found
they weren't
that
ripped out.
helpful.
They weren't even attached. 1 star.
They. Oh no, there's a conspiracy going on. Maybe those are the pages that talk about evolution, and maybe
that
Robert,
is fantastic,
or whatever that guy's name was earlier, he got to them. He ripped out all the evolution pages.
And that would be smart. We'll end with Josiah Zorn, who wrote, this book openly mocks religions of all sorts. His smug and arrogant writing makes this book a chore to read. I would not recommend it to anyone, even my worst enemies.
I like the guy also above him that said, I dislike that I am so naive. I put it in the recycling.
Yeah, this is supposed to be funny. I guess he kind of took it a little seriously.
The site that I'm on.
Yeah, there you go.
1-star review. People who should read this. Those who really, really enjoy book reports. People who should absolutely not read this. People with chronic pain, fat people, anyone with a degree in any aspect of biology, anyone who reads more than one popular science book a year. Yeah.
Well, we're none of those things. A lot of rules there, buddy. We might really enjoy it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, The Body, a Guide for Occupants. Yeah. Matt, would you like to hear my third and final pitch? Matt, I was earlier talking about VHS tapes. You remember those?
How could I forget?
Well, the thing is, VHS tapes, when they first came out, were exorbitantly expensive, which meant most people couldn't own them. So what did they do instead, Matt?
Went to they borrowed them from their neighbors and family members and friends, and they said, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar and a VHS tape?
Close. Yes, and then eventually their neighbor said, sure, but you'll have to pay me, and that turned into the rental industry. Matt, the book I am pitching here is called Built to Fail, The Inside Story of Blockbuster's Inevitable Bust. It says here, for more than 2 decades, Blockbuster was America's favorite way to watch movies. Millions of customers visited more than 8,000 stores around the globe every week. If any company should have predicted the disruptive forces coming down the pipes, it was Blockbuster. But as new threats emerged, none of its 5 CEOs had answers, and the company collapsed long before its time. Built to Fail tells the complete inside story of Blockbuster's meteoric rise and catastrophic fall. Beneath the surface of explosive growth lay a shaky foundation of financial difficulty, tunnel vision, and missed opportunities. It's actually written by the man who had the longest-lasting Blockbuster franchise location in the country. Now, on the upside, Matt, I think we could learn some interesting Hollywood inside things and look at the transition into media, something we found interesting on the show before. On the downside, might be a little too inside baseball-y, a little too businessy. I tend to like these books. Don't know if it's going to really necessarily fall under your interest. The good news is there's no 1-star reviews. There are some 2-star reviews. And none of them seem particularly aggressive, so maybe this book is not bad.
On my end, I'm looking on Goodreads, and it says,
"Oh no."
Aaron Wannick says, "Came off preachy, whiny, and a bit too holier than thou."
Damn, a little nose too much. I read a book I read a book about the fall of Circuit City, and it was written by the son of the guy who started Circuit City. And it was very much that, where the whole beginning of the book was like, my dad was great, and he did all this great stuff. And he built this great business, and his dad like retired at the peak of it. And he's like, and everyone else who wasn't my dad was a huge moron. And it was really,
Sean,
it was a little bit smug.
Amar
so
Pie
I could see where
I
that
give
might
it
come
2
from.
stars because the book is exceedingly dry and not especially well written. It's very inside baseball. To borrow a phrase from you, you just said that. It would have been nice to read this if it had been co-written with someone who was able to make it into a more gripping personality-based tale. They could have been a contender, is what they say.
Wow. Well, and I believe that. I mean, those are the kind of books I like. You know, those are the things I like to listen to. I mean, Matt, I can give you a 4th book if you're worried about Blockbuster.
I'm not particularly worried about Blockbuster. I think Blockbuster is going to do fine. I think they're gonna be fine. No one's gonna take them down. Blockbuster is great, but just in case, maybe you want to give me a little 4th book couldn't hurt. I'm kind of curious what the 4th book is going to be.
Well, this is it's another failed business book, but this one I think might be a little better for 2 reasons. One is I think it's going to be a little more dynamic. This book is from more of a business writer than a guy who worked at Blockbuster writer. The other thing is, and the reason I want to read this is I just watched, Matt, are you familiar with the film Blackberry that just came out? They made a movie about the rise and fall of the BlackBerry company. You remember the original smartphone, if you will. I watched the film. The film was awesome. It was actually surprisingly good. And this is the book it's based on, called Losing the Signal, The Untold Story Behind the Extraordinary Rise and Spectacular Fall of BlackBerry. At one point, the largest company in Canada, which is where they're from. And after having watched the movie, I'm curious about the book. And Matt, as a bonus, if we do read the book on the show, we can also watch the movie. We can. I don't know that though. I mean, it is funny. You know, a big plot point in both the book and the movie is the iPhone coming out, and the impact it had on the business. But it's the book was very good. It was Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they were great. It was a great movie. So
Sean,
if you don't read the book, at least watch the movie.
BlackBerry?
Would be my recommendation. I never did. I wasn't that cool, unfortunately. And I didn't send a lot of emails. You know, that really was for emails and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I
did not have a BlackBerry.
I think we were like in middle school at the time.
I remember them. Like, I remember them being a part of the culture, like on shows and stuff. For some weird reason, I always connect it to Survivor. There was a guy on Survivor that was like addicted to his BlackBerry and like was like holding a coconut or a rock or something and pretending he was on a BlackBerry because he was like so addicted to having one. I thought that was got to see a little bit of his psyche unravel on national TV. So they did the Crackberry. Yeah, they were addicting.
Crackberries was what they called them. Yeah. Yeah. So those are my book picks, Matt.
I can't decide whether I found the content or the writing less appealing.
Why don't you
like most things related to corporate ascent, it was nothing more than dumb machismo, tripping over typos, and adorned with awkward metaphors. That's Danny, who has 3 followers, so she must be right.
Well, it says here, Danny founded BlackBerry. Well, see, that's Matt. You can't trust that. All right, Matt. Well, you don't have to make up you can make up your decision now, or you can wait and we can go through your books.
I'll tell you straight up that I think this will surprise you. I am finding myself most attracted to the the latter two books that you mentioned. I like the business books. I actually really enjoyed
the business books.
the
Okay.
book we read on this show way back, and I think our first summer reading. It was where that company, it was like the dot com, the bubble, but when the bubble burst, or dot bomb, that was it. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I really liked dot bomb.
Dot Bomb, I believe, was
It was
that.
an enjoyable read. Bad Blood we read for the show.
Well, even
I think these are
Bad
these are
Blood was
good,
sort
and
of
they
a
lead
sort
to
of
a
a
lot of
version of
really
this. With,
good discussions. So
yeah.
I'll think about, maybe I'll read them both, and maybe we can talk about which ones we want to do on the show. But I would say Built to Fail is probably my leading contender right now. But I would also read Losing the Signal. I think just because of the personal relationship I had with Blockbuster growing up, and I would find that a little more compelling. But I am going to watch the documentary for Losing the Signal at the very least. Blackberry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good
Solid.
movie. It's a good movie called Blackberry. I'd recommend it.
Great.
I ordered all the books, so pick whichever one you like, because I'm going to read them all. So, but you think about that. We'll make our announcement at the end of the episode. But
Sure.
Matt, why don't you get into your very large selection of books here?
Where to begin? Let's start with a question. Sean, have you ever read this book called The Pixar Touch: The Making of a Company? Is that why it's on here? Did you read this book?
You know, the thing is, there's two.
I need to figure out why I put it on the list.
Pixar.
Okay.
I've read one of them.
All right. So if not,
so let me see if that's the one I've read. Okay, it's not. I will say, whichever Pixar book I did read, I enjoyed a lot. No, not book. My typing is not being cooperative. Okay, that was the one I read. The other one is, well, there's Creativity Inc. is one. There's also To Pixar and Beyond is another one. But the Pixar Touch, yes, that is the book I read.
Well,
it is very good, but I have read it.
Next one is, I think, a book that I maybe have pitched on this show before, and I still haven't read it, and I don't believe you've read it either. It is Disrupting the Game: From the Bronx to the Top of Nintendo. The story of Reggie Fils-Aimé. Long time. It was. I'll put it back up there.
This was on your list a year or two ago,
potentially. There may be some better choices out there.
That's fine.
I'm going to start low and build up high here. But Disrupting the Game: From the Bronx to the Top of Nintendo. Reggie Fils-Aimé, retired president and chief operating officer of Nintendo of America, Inc., shares leadership lessons and inspiring stories from his unlikely rise to the top. Although he's best known as Nintendo's iconic president of the Americas, immortalized for opening Nintendo's 2004 E3 presentation with "My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass, taking names, and we're about making games." Reggie Fils-Aimé's story is the ultimate game plan for anyone looking to beat the odds and achieve success. He talks about disruptive thinking, mastering your gifts, and choices that will make you truly happy. So there's an autobiography from the man himself. 1-star review says, "I can't believe how insipid this was. Reggie worked at Nintendo for years, and the best he can do is some awful management speak about how great he is at management waffle. Just don't even bother." says Bill Page. Chelsea says, I'm glad I didn't pay for this one. Christian Schneider says, should be titled Memoirs of a Bully. Badly written by an incredible show-off. Gave up a third through the book.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Harsh. Well, it's interesting, Matt. We read Console Wars on the show. We know a little bit about Nintendo. And so this could be an interesting addition to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's just a possibility. Our first option, disrupting the game. Can we go to the okay? Pivoting from disrupting the game to a different kind of game. The game is The Geography of Nowhere. The Rise and Decline of America's Man-Made Landscape. So I guess the game here is urban waste or suburban sprawl. I haven't read this one either. I think this one might
that's an interesting pick.
This one might, I think this one might grab you. I have a strange suspicion. But it's an urban planning book. And surface level, it seems kind of tedious and boring, but it basically gets into just the where you drive down those strips of road and everything looks exactly the same, and it's that way in like no matter where you are, Florida or Arkansas or Iowa. It kind of gets, I think, about like to the history of that. The description says, the Geography of Nowhere traces America's evolution from a nation of main streets and coherent communities to a land where every place is like no place in particular, where the cities are dead zones and the countryside is a wasteland of cartoon architecture and parking lots. In elegant and often hilarious prose, Kunstler depicts our nation's evolution from the pilgrim settlements to the modern auto suburb in all its ghastliness. Kind of like kind of like talking about the development of the automotive industry and the building the highways systems and how that caused like the cities to be less compacted and more spread out, and got some very good reviews. Only one star review that I can see. Only a couple. This book was mostly a cynical rant. The author, James Kunstler, is really arrogant and pessimistic. I almost didn't finish the book, says Andrea Berardi.
Interestingly enough, this book was published in 1994, so I'm curious, should we read it to see how things have changed since it was published? The other thing I'll point out is, I don't know how much you know about Mr. Kunstler, but on his Wikipedia page here, it mentions that he's a promoter of the concept of the so-called deep state working to overthrow and thwart President Trump. He described COVID-19 pandemic as a scam, and he published a vaccine conspiracy theory that the vaccine would kill people steadily over the weeks and months, and went on to name hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin as effective treatments.
All right.
He also attacked gay marriage, calling it cultural mischief
taking this
that would further damage a struggling institution. He also suggested the 2021 storming of the Capitol as the work of left-wingers.
Moving on to our next pick.
And he no, I want to.
Wow. Was that all in his?
Couldn't
Was that
resist.
all? That was all really in his
It's
Wikipedia?
cool, dude. He was much more normal in 1994.
Holy crap!
Word for right,
Okay.
He has a whole section, which is very amusing. Yes, I knew that because someone wrote a 1-star review on Amazon saying there was nothing wrong with the
Okay.
book, but he's turned into a
Yeah,
right-wing
I mean,
lunatic. One
this was a
star. I said, "Oh,
long
I got to
time
Google
ago,
this."
and people get crazy out there. That's I won't be reading it. I already took it off the list and said we could forget about it. Didn't seem that interesting wholeheartedly to begin with, but it was on my. I had put it on my like to read a while back, and yeah, I figured I would pull it from there. All right, with that, let's go to a happier time with a happier person. I need a palate cleanse. I was going to save this more closer toward the end, but I think we need a happier person than Mr. Kunstler to really lift us up here. And who is going to be happier than this man right here, Mr. Jackie Chan? This is his biography. Jackie Chan,
Oh my
Never
God,
Grow Up.
it's his face.
Everyone knows Jackie Chan, whether it's from Rush Hour, Shanghai Noon, The Karate Kid, or Kung Fu Panda. Jackie is admired by generations of moviegoers for his acrobatic fighting style, comedic timing, and mind-bending stunts. In 2016, after 56 years in the industry, over 200 films, and many broken bones, he received an honorary Academy Award for his lifetime achievement in film. But at 64 years old, Jackie is just getting started. So in this book, he reflects on his early childhood, childhood years spent at the China Drama Academy in Hong Kong and in Hollywood, his numerous brushes with death, both on and off the set, his life as a husband and a father, all heartwarming goodness coming from the young master himself, Jackie Chan. And I defy anybody to write a 1-star review about this guy. I don't know how you could do it. How could you be so cruel? Oh, somebody's found a way. Oh, what do we got? Oof.
I like if you like Jackie, don't read this book. I've always loved his films, but knowing more
Yeah.
about who he is as a
And
person,
the person
it's kind of a
above him,
letdown. I guess that's
the
fair.
person above him wrote
I guess
something
he is
similar.
cooler
If
in
you
movies
think
than
that
as
you
a
like
real
Jackie
person.
Chan, you might want to skip this one. This is the only autobiography I've read so far where I actually thought less of the person after reading it. Judgy, but it is what it is. Yeah. He, as nice and funny and kind as Jackie is in the media persona seems to portray him, as utterly horrible a person he comes out of this in this autobiography. He holds grudges, seems pompous, and is just a general dickhead to most people in his life. Worst of all, though, it seems like a cleaned up version that leaves out certain aspects of his life. So I thought to myself, why even bother finishing this?
Man, I think it's interesting.
Hmm.
I never read biographies. Almost never. And you've already pitched 2 of them tonight. So, very
Yeah.
interesting
I don't
selections
know.
here
This
early.
is we could consider it. We could consider it.
I'm not opposed.
Those are. I
Not
will say
opposed at
those are the
all.
only 2 biographies I've got on here. Let's pivot now. We'll pivot into the realm of nonfiction.
Oof, you make me nervous there.
And we are gonna go.
Did someone write like a fake Jackie
That
Chan
would be
biography
great.
we can read?
I'd like that. No, we're gonna go to the fiction world here for a moment. We read a book by this author before on a previous book club episode. I believe it was last summer. I had you read one of my favorite books of all time, The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. Did you
No,
not?
you mean do you?
No, that's right. That's right. We
Matt,
did.
we never actually read that
it.
one.
It became one of my favorite books.
We ran out of
so
time.
okay, your choice.
Yes,
You can
I
either
have it. I bought
actually
it. It's
read
on
that
my
book
shelf.
this time, and do the assignment, or you can read his other book, Never Let Me Go, which came out in 2005. This is known as his seminal work. This is like what people, most people who know Ishiguro like this book, and they also like Remains of the Day. I haven't read this one yet, but it's been on my list for a while. If you know anything about Ishiguro, you know that he loves British stuff and British culture, despite being very Japanese. And this one is about an English boarding school, far from the influences of the city. Hailsham, it's called. Students are well tended and well supported, trained in art and literature, and become just the sort of people the world wants them to be. But curiously, they are taught nothing of the outside world and are allowed little contact with it. Within the grounds of Hailsham, Kathy grows from young schoolgirl to young woman. But it's only when she and her friends, Ruth and Tommy, leave the safety of the grounds of the school that they realize the full truth of what Hailsham is. Never Let Me Go breaks through the boundaries of the literary novel. It's a gripping mystery, a beautiful love story, and also a scathing critique of human arrogance and a moral examination of how we treat the vulnerable and different in our society. In exploring the themes of memory and the impact of the past, Ishiguro takes on the idea of a possible future to create his most moving and powerful book to date.
Wow.
Did they?
Man, did you know they made a movie about this book? Yes, starring Carey Mulligan, Keira Knightley, and Andrew Garfield.
Didn't know that.
Came out in 2010.
We can always do a compare and contrast.
Yeah, Matt, I'll tell you, this is certainly more appealing to me than Remains of the Day, because it seems less boring.
Well, I enjoyed Remains of the Day, but I will say it was a very slow burn. It was a slow burn, and you really had to get into the character and his like entire like mindset. It was a whole thing. It was not definitely not one that you can like pick up and stop and go. It was definitely more of a commitment. But this one, I've heard very good things about this. Most Ishiguro fans point to this one as their favorite. They like this one a lot. But you know who didn't like it a lot? Author Kevin Ansbro, who is an author. He's got a badge, and he's got 1,400 followers. No. He said, "You know those irritating people who talk to children and old people as if they were babies in a puerile, sing-song voice? Well, those idiots sprang to mind as I endured the narrative voice of this glacially slow yawn fest of a novel." He goes on to just eviscerate it.
And I like I like oh yeah, he goes on. Victoria below too is great. I finally finished reading this book. Finally is the key word. At first I thought the problem was with me, too busy to read, but now that I finished it, I realized the book itself was the problem. I've never read any of his works before, but this book is just pure boredom. And I like the guy below her with the first line, "No one to hold him and no one to fold him," comes to mind when trying to write a
These are
review on
long
this
reviews
novel.
too, except for
Oh
this
man, these
guy
people
who
gotta get a
said
life.
Nicole writes Zmieniłem zdanie, jednak nie zawróżę na gwiazdki. Very, very rude. Whatever that says. Yeah.
Very rude. Very rude. Matt, you've really steered me quite well in fiction in our summer reading lists in the past. I will say, I still think Wind Up Bird Chronicles maybe one of my favorite books I've ever read. I enjoyed it immensely, and so this one definitely has a strong consideration.
I like it.
Could be interesting.
Okay. I like that. Just putting it out there. Okay, Sean. Let's do. I got two more here for you. One of them is another fiction, which I have not read yet. But this is a science fiction book. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while. Published in 2021. It won the Hugo Award for Best Novel, Science Fiction Novel in 2022. Best Audiobook in Science Fiction in 2022 as well. So a good listener here. It's Ready Player.
I hope it's not Ready Player 2.
Imagine. Once that does inevitably come out as a cash grab, we have to read it, unfortunately. Ready Player 3?
They did make that. We talked about it on the show.
No. Ready Player 3. I know that. Yeah, I know they came out.
I thought you were talking about Ready Player 2.
I'm
Ready Player 2 they made.
No,
they didn't make the third one.
To show up somewhere.
No, that guy's got to make this money.
No, the book is called Project Hail Mary. It is a science fiction book written by Andy Weir.
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
Yes.
The guy who wrote The Martian.
Yes, this is The Martian guy.
A lone astronaut, an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and the Earth itself will perish. Except that right now, he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very, very long time. And he's just been awakened to find himself millions of miles from home with nothing but two corpses for company. His crewmate's dead, his memories fuzzily returning. Ryland realizes that an impossible task now confronts him. Hurtling through space on this tiny ship, it's up to him to puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery and conquer an extinction-level threat to our species. And with the clock ticking down and the nearest human being light years away, he's got to do it all alone. Or does he? Okay, wow. So that is Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, I see here Hillary Golden says, this is not a review about the story. It's about the physical copy of the book. The binding is so terrible, I opened to begin reading it, and pages are literally falling out. So disappointing, 1 star. And Michael Gallagher says, I had to quit reading this one as the author couldn't get off the global warming soapbox in a dismissive tone. So much so it was like preaching, and if you don't agree, the author comes out and tells his audience they are stupid. This was not a novel, but more of a climate manifesto with lots and lots of technical scientific jargon, and I feel as if I was ripped off with my $14.95 purchase. If
Sean,
you enjoyed The Martian as I did, it will be a total letdown to you. 1 star.
Here. Ready to take a look? It's great because it has GIFs.
Oh, yeah.
There's GIFs.
Yes.
I didn't know you could do that either, but apparently you can add GIFs. So get ready.
I didn't know you could do that.
This is a GIF-a-thon.
Cutting edge.
It starts off with the line, Julian Wonderland, our author here, she writes, Andy Weir cannot write, and I'm tired of people pretending he can. First, let's talk about characters. Well, there is no character here. I only see a vague man-shaped science textbook in an astronaut suit. Wait, let me put my glasses on. Oh, I know him. Quirky, wisecracking nerd who likes space. It's Mark Watney. A little gif of I'm
look at
Mark
that. It's a
Watney
little
and I'm
gift from
stuck
the
on
movie.
Uranus.
That's
Mark
incredible.
Watney's alone in space again. Oh, can you believe his luck? Anyway, he's alone and he's quick and nerdy, and that's quirky and nerdy. And that's all very nicely boring, but hold on. There are flashback scenes. We get to meet other people, a diverse group of scientists from many countries to save the world. Yay. No, I take that back. No, yay. This is no diverse. Oh, I don't want to read all this, but we got to. Sure, Jan. We got
Oh
a
wow, yeah.
shirt,
This
Jan.
this gets really out of control quickly.
Then we got more. I'm just gonna go down to the gifts. We got Kevin from Home Alone running away. Oh, it keeps going. It keeps going, and I'm hoping there's no spoilers. That was a very long gift-filled review.
Jesus, this is long.
From Julie in Wonderland.
Oh my god. Well, here's the thing, Matt.
Okay.
I did not read The Martian, nor did I see the movie.
That doesn't.
So the good news is, if this is just like The Martian,
matter,
I won't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it wouldn't matter at all to you. Yeah. So there you go. Project Hail Mary.
Very interesting.
By Andy Weir.
Very interesting.
And the last book I'm going to leave for you. Well, I've got two. And yeah, all right. Are you familiar with the show The Wire?
Why not?
Okay. Then this might not be
seen
super
it, but I'm familiar with the fact
exciting,
that it exists.
For you. I thought some reason I had thought maybe you had watched it, but I do recommend the show. It's a really good show, but this book is called All the Pieces Matter: The Inside Story of The Wire, written by Jonathan Abrams. It is basically like 10 years after the acclaimed show. This is the inside story of how they made the show. The issues it tackled, from the failures of the drug war and criminal justice system to systemic bias in law enforcement and in other social institutions. Many of its show's actors, such as Idris Elba, Dominic West, and Michael B. Jordan, have gone on to become major stars. Its creators and writers, including David Simon and Richard Price, have developed dedicated cult followings of their own. Universities use the show to teach everything from film theory to criminal justice to sociology. Politicians and activists reference it when discussing policy. Arguably, The Wire is one of the greatest works of American art in the 20th century.
Great.
And this is all the story behind the scenes of how the show came to be made. And no one-star reviews.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, no, I haven't seen the show. Doesn't mean I'm not
2 stars for
unwilling.
The book, not for The Wire, says Eric. Sean, our last book of the night from me. Strap yourself in for...
Oh boy.
Have you ever read Moby Dick? Nor have I. That is not the book I'm recommending.
No.
However, the reason I'm bringing it up is this book I also haven't read. This is a book that was the inspiration, they believe, for Moby Dick. It was also a film kind of recently. In the Heart of the Sea, The Tragedy of the Whale Ship Essex.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Finding Nemo.
In the Heart of the Sea brings to new life the incredible story of the wreck of the whale ship Essex, an event as mythical in its own century as the Titanic disaster was in ours, and the inspiration for the climax of Moby Dick. In a harrowing page-turner, Nathaniel Philbrick restores this epic story to its rightful place in American history. It's about a whaling ship in 1820 that basically met with an 80-ton bull sperm whale and did not have a good time. And
wow, this is definitely interesting. It's not really in the realm of something I would traditionally read, but I'm definitely curious.
I remember when the movie came out. I think that's when I put it on this list. This book was published way back in 2000, but the movie that is based from this book came out fairly recently. I want to say like 2019 maybe, or 2001. Okay, I really don't know where this guy was going. I was scrolling around. There's one thing you need to know about me. It's that I've never listened to a song by Rush all the way through. Really? What does that have to do with? Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, here... Yeah, Catfish76 says, the book itself is great. However, I got to page 142 where the crew discovers water on Henderson Island. Then there were 16 pages of photos and pictures. Then it starts back up at page 175. What the hell happened from finding water and replenishing supplies to cannibalism? What publisher prints books with pages missing?
People that have these publishing issues, and I had no idea there were so many of them. And then they take it out on the author.
It's very funny. Well, if you are having problem with your print version, Kindle customer says unable to read as this did not download.
Alex has one follower, and she says, just so everyone knows. That's a bad
700 reviews and one follower.
It
That's
is, and I think you'll know why once you read a review. She says, just so everyone knows, I rooted for the whale every single time. It would seem that every person who was aboard the Essex or any other whaling ship would do just about anything to fulfill their greedy and selfish desires. They had no respect for life except their own, and because of that, I stopped caring what happened to them. P.S. You know what they say about karma? Hashtag save the whales. Hashtag save the tortoises.
Again, like, I'm learning new things. I didn't know you could GIF in a book review. I didn't know you could hashtag in a book review.
I think you might be missing the point, Alex. Okay. What a yawn fest, says Aaron. Oh, and I'm on Team Whale.
I'm on Team Whale. I didn't know. Do people know this already happened? Like you can't like.
It's a little late.
I mean, it's kind of, you can kind of be over it a little bit. I think that's okay. I don't think young people are out. I don't think this is like for young people to read it and be influenced. Be like, I want to be a whaler.
It in a
I don't think
light.
That's the case.
I don't think so. At least. Oh wait, there's spoilers on this one.
Well, don't reveal it, man.
This is the one that I clicked.
I don't want to find out if the whale won or not.
It's all in Chinese.
Thank goodness it's all this gibberish.
Yeah.
Wow. What a list,
That's
Matt.
The list.
What a list.
That is the list.
Some good stuff in here. So I don't think there were any stinkers, which is good.
Okay.
I think it was a pretty compelling list. I'm kind of between two right now. I'm thinking I'm between Never Let Me Go and In the Heart of the Sea. I think they're both books I traditionally wouldn't read, which excites me when we do these because it does give me an opportunity to try new things. I like that Never Let Me Go is fiction because I don't get a lot of that, and it's a different perspective than what I read. But In the Heart of the Sea is a subject I know nothing about, like not even remotely anything about, which is interesting, but it sounds like it has a compelling narrative in addition to being historically interesting. So it's kind of a toss up between those.
Well, I don't know, if it helps steer you one way or the other, you could watch the trailers for both of the movies. I don't know.
Who is in the? See, now I got to Google the In the Heart of the Sea movie. When did that come out?
That came out in 2015. Chris Hemsworth, Tom Holland,
2015.
Cillian Murphy, Benjamin
With Chris
Walker,
Hemsworth.
Ben Whishaw.
Oh, I vaguely remember this.
Brendan Gleeson. Surprising.
It was a box office bomb. You know, the house where Herman Melville wrote Moby Dick is not far from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
You can go there. They're open one day a week because nobody ever goes there. Interesting. Yeah, it's a Ron Howard directed film. Yeah. I mean, this could be big. It was nominated for a Teen Choice Award. Those? That can't be right.
They still make.
I don't think any teen saw this. Apparently, the 18th Teen Choice Awards for Choice Movie
That's just
in the
action
it's got Chris
category.
Hemsworth. Who else was nominated
and Tom Holland.
that year?
The teens love Tom Holland.
Oh, they only said who. This list. So it was again. So okay, In the Heart of the Sea, a movie based on the book that Moby Dick is based on, went up against The Jungle Book, Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials, the Divergent series Allegiant, Spectre, which of course we've watched, and the winner.
We could write a young adult
Deadpool.
Novel, Sean. We could do it. We could make millions. I know we can.
It wouldn't be hard. Wouldn't be hard at all. I read someone on Twitter the other day said, and I agreed with them. They said someone should turn the Fast and Furious movies into young adult novels.
Really?
I said, that sounds good.
Get those kids reading again.
I would read that.
Get those kids back reading again.
That is a winner. Matt, will I bounce between these two final books? Have you made a decision which of mine you're going to read?
The Blockbuster book. I think I'm going to read. Yeah, I think I'm going to read Built to Fail.
Nice. Built to Fail: The Inside Story of Blockbuster's Inevitable Bust.
That's the one that I'm really, really interested in. Is the Built to Fail.
Awesome. Well, Matt, I think I've made my decision as well. I might buy Never Let Me Go just for the fun of it, but I think to again pick something that's a little more unique in the pantheon of books we've read, I am going to go with In the Heart of the Sea.
That's funny because that was I almost didn't. I almost took that one off the list. I think that was one of the ones that almost didn't make the cut.
Yeah, it's. I mean, sort of, this sort of not strong narrative nonfiction is interesting, and more of the types of books I'd like to read. So I'm excited to. I think it'd be interesting.
All right, so we're good. We got our picks in.
Matt, this is going to be a great summer.
Should we wait till next week to tease the movies?
We're better than good
for a movie. Yeah.
We will. Oh, did you know?
And
the same guy wrote a book about the Mayflower.
Tell me that he believes the vaccines are microchips.
Yeah, name another famous boat. You can't do it. He wrote one on Custer's Last Stand. This guy's prolific. Yes, Matt. So everyone out there, order your copies of Built to Fail and In the Heart of the Sea. Start reading. Matt and I will. I've got some trips this summer, and I just reading when I'm on airplanes. So I'll definitely be able to get through these, and we'll talk about those later in the summer. But between now and then, we have our annual Blockbuster Summer franchise watch along. Last year, we did the video game films. The year before that, Fast and Furious. We've done James Bond, Rocky, a number of them. This year, we're going to pick a new franchise or collection of films, if you will, and watch them all summer long. Matt's going to pitch a few. I'm going to pitch a few. And we're going to come to one. And we're going to do that next week, Matt. Ahead. It's pretty exciting. Yes, sir. Go and folks.
I was going to say,
make sure you check all the pages are there when you get the book.
Yep.
Make sure they don't fall out. They're not out of order.
Apparently,
or missing.
An epidemic going on.
Apparently, that's very common.
Got to make sure those pages are there.
Yep. Otherwise, you're going to get very confused when you get to the end. Matt, that's going to do it for us here tonight. Always a pleasure. On behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. We appreciate all you guys being here to kick off this awesome summer. But until then, we'll see you on the next episode of Up for Debate.